it's Felicity from Get Your Rock Out, and today I'm here in the studio with Also Eden. Say hello, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
It's been an absolutely fantastic day so far. You know, we've seen some great stuff being done, and the album is sounding absolutely amazing. And it's, to be honest, I'm really quite honoured to be able to do this and to bring you this in the studio piece. So, guys, you're working. It's the 4th full-length album that you're bringing out. So, tell us all about it.
Well, the last one was 2 years ago, Think of the Children, on F2 Records, which this one is as well. We started writing at that point. We've had some line-up changes in the band in between. It's taken a while to get things together, but it's all coming together nicely, and it'll be out in the first week of November.
Brilliant. And you've been recording this one slightly differently to all the rest, and this is quite a new procedure for you. So tell us what you've done differently this time.
You tuned up, didn't you?
I tuned my guitars, you know.
I turned up.
You turned up.
Always a good thing.
Tune up, and drop out, I think, isn't it? Yeah, interestingly, recording guitars first, for me, was a new thing, because normally there's at least drums and bass recorded. I guess Andy found that a bit of an unusual
Yeah, I mean, normally you
do
get the
things.
rhythm section sorted out first and then add things on top.
We realised that the tracks that worked best on the Think of the Children album, not necessarily the best tracks, but the ones that worked best on the album were the ones that we'd played a lot live. So we've played 6 of the 8 tracks on Redacted, as the album is called, live already. One of the others was released as a Christmas free download, which we do every year. And so only one of the tracks hasn't been played live prior to recording, which is a very different way of doing it, irrespective of whether you do it completely arse about face and record the guitars first.
Yeah.
Trying to record guide vocals when you've only got the guitars is quite interesting. However well you know the track.
Trying to record guitars with nothing is even worse, believe me, you know.
Yeah, to a click, basically.
To a click, you know.
Yeah. How does this go again? Yeah.
Drives you nuts after about 15 hours of it.
Yeah, so that's the main thing we've done different, and involving an external producer, which we'd wanted to do before.
Yeah.
You did approach me last time, didn't you, on the last one?
Yeah, I think we were kind of considering using you for the mastering and things like that, but
it never happened for some reason.
Yeah, never happened. But I think it's quite important. We felt it was quite important to get somebody in from kind of outside the band, because as Rich said, we've been playing a lot of these songs live, so we're kind of used to them sounding in a certain way. You might not come up yourself with ideas that someone else might hear them and go, why doesn't it do that? I think it's the first time I've been involved in an album with anyone that's had an external producer, and I think it's gone really well.
Fantastic. And would it be really awful to ask you if you've enjoyed working with the band?
Of course I have. I mean, it's different for me because I'm a media composer, basically.
Yeah.
So I get involved quite a lot with mixing and mastering other projects, but not kind of in depth with kind of producing and cutting bits out and moving things around, and that sort of thing. So yeah, it's been really interesting.
And, you all seem to be kind of on a level with what you want in the studio. Have you found that it's easier working with the external producer? Because does that help to kind of smooth things over when people are saying, actually, we want different things? And has that brought you kind of more together as a band or not?
To be honest with you, I mean, I always let these guys make the decisions. I will offer an opinion and I will suggest, and then it's up to them to fight it out, really. Because I don't feel that I can, it's their material at the end of the day. I don't feel that I can...
We'll always ask for Andy's opinion. We'll consider it and then ignore it and carry on.
Ignore them, yeah.
That's what normally happens. But
I think you found it a good experience, Lee, haven't you?
Yeah.
Because the drums have been recorded in a completely different way for this album than they were for the last one.
And for the actual process of involving someone else, as a band, we're always going to have things that we don't necessarily agree on, and it's great to have someone to offer an opinion.
No, we don't.
Yes, we do. No, we don't. So yeah, I mean, the drums come in sort of later on in the process. I record from home, which has enabled me to sort of put stuff down, pass it to Andy, see how it comes out. he passes it back to me, and I'll rejig things a little bit. If you're recording in a normal studio, 5 days or 2 weeks recording things, you'll find that the drums, because the drums go down first, that's what you're left with. If in the process everything else changes, then sorry, but you're left with what's already recorded. Which this way we can change things as the music evolves. So yeah.
And the other positive aspect of doing things this way for me is that what tends to happen if you do go into a studio and just record an album all in one go, which a hell of a lot of bands do, is, well, what the poor vocalist has to do while everyone else is doing the backing tracks is actually sing the tracks over and over and over again. And by the time you come to do your vocals, you've partially lost your voice, and frankly, you're fed up of singing the same bloody songs. So it's actually it's a refreshing way for me to work compared to the way I've worked with most bands in the past.
It has been very unusual in that the guys have really pulled their weight and recorded a lot of their own material, and then I'm just kind of a conduit to put it all together, really, which is great because they knew that I was pushed for time and I haven't got a lot of time to commit to the project, so by them doing that they've taken a lot of pressure off me, especially Si with all the guitar parts.
Have you even actually met Graham and
No.
yet?
No.
So Andy hasn't
over the
actually
phone.
met the keyboard player or the bassist.
Talked over the phone and received files from them, basically. So.
And has it been weird for you? Because obviously, with all the composing that you do and that, you've got full control over everything you do. Has it been really strange not to?
That's a little bit. That is a little bit tricky because obviously I am used to being steering my own ship, very much so, and a band dynamic is very different to that, where everybody's got to come to some sort of compromise and agree, But we're muddling through very well, I think, aren't we?
Yeah.
And has it made you think that you'd actually quite like to do more of this kind of stuff?
I quite like the producing side of it, yeah.
Yeah, the next album.
I thought you were going to say never again for a second. No!
No more.
I mean, the media stuff is great. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy doing that, but this is a different challenge. Working to picture is obviously very different.
And how much would you guys say the album's changed from what it originally was now you've been in the studio with it?
It's
a difficult one.
They're definitely silent.
that is a difficult question. The album has an overall concept, and that overall concept hasn't changed. Individual bits of individual tracks have changed. I don't think we've rearranged any tracks other than taking pieces out. I don't think there's any new pieces of tracks that have come up in the studio. Perhaps with the exception of the intro to Red River, which is the first track. But then there's quite a long introduction piece. But then that was always intended to be there. It just didn't exist. Yeah. I don't think any of the other tracks have actually been significantly chopped and changed. They've just been a bit chopped. Some of them.
Yeah.
Because I guess most of the songs we had for the album were sketched out before Howard and keyboard player and Graham, the bass player, joined the band. So a lot of the time, as Lee said, was getting them up to speed. But actually finding bass players and keyboard players first, and then getting them getting them into the band, rehearsing them, as well as gigging.
I think we all would like to have had the album out somewhat earlier.
Yeah, sort of.
And we've had people, because we've been behind the double-edged sword of playing the stuff live is people are continuing to go, oh, that's absolutely fantastic, when's the album coming out? And it's like, well, yeah. So it is a bit of a double-edged sword, but it's nice. People know the material up front, and people are looking forward to the album.
Which is brilliant.
So yeah.
I know, I don't want to focus too much on lineup changes, but I mean, are you feeling settled as a band now? Are you feeling that this is a lineup that is gonna, you're happy with it? You're all gelling together, and it's gonna stick.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a difficult period for the band, but everyone who's seen us in the last 3 or 4 gigs we've done with the new lineup said that we look more of a band than maybe we have done in the past at times. Dave from the record company, I was speaking to him the other day, and he said that a couple of people that had seen the band over the years had commented to him at our last gig at the Robin 2 in Bilston that was the most together they'd ever seen Also Even.
Really?
So apparently it works.
Brilliant.
Really we all think it does.
Good.
Yeah.
And this album is a concept album that's not a concept album. Discuss.
Well,
this is going to end up in another prog discussion, isn't it? Yeah.
Not if I can help it. There is a story that is being told through the album, but I like to write oblique lyrics that aren't necessarily entirely obvious. But what I've actually done with the album lyrically is tell a single story by telling 8 different stories, and each of the 8 different stories is quite oblique, some of them more than others, because I like to write things that aren't so tied down that it's obvious exactly what they're about, because I'd rather people could take what they want to take away from an album and a song, rather than be told this is what it's obviously about. I like people to be able to put their own interpretations on lyrics, and I'd rather someone had their own interpretation and got something for themselves out of a lyric and a song than to think, oh well, he means this. Yeah.
Well, even with some of the reviews of the last one, different reviewers took different angles from it of what they felt the album was, or the lyrics were trying to portray within the album.
That's true, actually. There were several reviews that understood exactly what I intended to get across, but I was just as happy with the ones that had interpreted it slightly differently, because they actually made me think, well, did I mean that? I hadn't noticed that. When you write something yourself and someone else got a different interpretation on it, it means they've actually paid some attention to it. And the album is called Redacted for a reason, which is it had another working title for about a day, and I thought, no, that's too bloody obvious. We'll take that obvious title away, and we'll use this. And then that's become a theme to actually drive some of the other elements of the artwork, for example.
And the album artwork itself, who have you got to do that?
A friend of mine called Neil McChrystal, of Neil McChrystal Fine Art. I approached him about this time last year and I said, have you ever done the album artwork? Because you get all of these albums, you get an awful lot of albums that are photoshopped to the hilt, shall we say. We just felt, just do something slightly different, and it's funny. There are a couple of other people have brought out albums this year that have actually got original artwork on now as well. So maybe we've kicked off a trend, or maybe we just
again progressive.
Definitely.
Yeah, not pro.
Please, not again. Have you decided which one of you is which sugar babe yet? Have you got this far up?
I'm all of them.
Well, unfortunately, that analogy's gone a bit west, hasn't it? Because haven't they gone back together again?
What?
Yeah,
Aren't they getting back together again?
I believe so.
The Sugar Babes.
I didn't know that.
I don't know, I read it. So, it came up on my newsfeed because I was in an interview with you where we called ourselves the Sugar Babes of Prague. That's
Fantastic.
how, it got promoted
Good
to
old targeted advertising.
suggested story.
Wow. Well, there we go. What terrifying. Nobody wants that. Ugh, never mind.
We're going on your next tour. We could be the support band for us.
I think that's a fantastic idea.
Yeah, well, no, why not?
I think we should definitely get on the case with
Or
this.
should we
It'd be
support
brilliant.
us? I don't know. What do you think?
You could do a co-headline,
Yeah,
just
double Awesome Sugar Babes.
We couldn't get through an interview without mentioning it, I mean, let's be honest. But yeah, moving on to non-Sugar Babe related things. You have got a few gigs around the album launch as well. So where can people catch you and grab a copy of this?
November the 6th at the Garage in Swansea, which is the latest one that we've added. We're confirming the support band for that at the moment. Then we are playing on the 7th, which is the Thursday, up at the Railway in Bromley Cross, which is near Bolton. So hopefully you'll be coming to that one.
Yeah, it's right in my area then.
With our
Fantastic.
excellent friends, and I know everyone says this, but we really mean this, with our excellent friends Mr. So-and-so, who are just a fantastic band. Really do go and check them out. Then Saturday, November the 10th, Cy and myself, in our alternative guise, our our acoustic guys of,
We need a cajon.
of Neo Deals. We're supporting Crimson Sky at South Street Arts Centre in Reading. So that should be good fun. And Jane, the lead singer of Crimson Sky, has actually recorded some spoken word parts for the album.
Oh, wow.
So that's cool.
Brilliant.
Well, you can't have better than the Professor of Phonetics doing your spoken word parts, really. And then we round off the album launch tour on the 11th of November. And that's... Have I got my dates wrong? No, that's...
No,
sorry.
it's the 10th.
The 10th of November, Sunday the 10th, at the Musician in Leicester, which we've played twice in the last year to fairly substantial crowds. We did Downfest up there, and we did a gig with The Watch, who are a Genesis
Italian
tribute band.
Genesis tribute band.
Yeah.
And we've got a gig in Sheffield in October.
Oh.
Yeah, well, we'll be playing some of the tracks from the album, as we have been doing. We're doing a double header with Jump at the Corporation in Sheffield on Saturday, October the 19th.
Brilliant. So, I mean, it's going to be, a really exciting few months for you guys. I know I, for one, have to say I'm really, really looking forward to hearing this album. We're also going to have a bit of an exclusive surprise for you in precisely a week's time, and so do check back for that. And guys, it has been an absolute pleasure to chat to you today. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thanks.